Record for us. Okay. Oh, there. I knew it as soon as I hit record. Here's someone else. Melissa. Welcome. Welcome, Melissa. All right. We got a nice group of ladies today. I love it. And we'll probably have a few more people join late, but welcome to Design and Furnish Your Vacation Rental from the Central Oregon Investor Network. As you can see, I'm not in Central Oregon right now, and I'm in Baja, Mexico, joining you. And this is why we invest, right? So we can be here. For those of you who haven't seen my panorama, this is what drives me is, having the freedom to work remotely from anywhere. And I know that's why a lot of us are here, is to create passive income through real estate investment. So welcome everybody. And we've got a guest speaker today. We have Samantha McClintic from McClintic Interiors, which is a local interior design firm right here in Bend what is the name of your building?
Inside Formation Stone is my office location.
So it's like right behind Cafe de Chutes in that cool little area. There's like the little cactus shop in there, and then Furnish Hope is in there. There's a lot of cool spots in there. So, and if you've never been inside the Formations building, it is super cool because they have each business has their individual container, like a shipping container inside that building. So Samantha has her own shipping container office in that building, which is really cool.
With no windows.
There is a large
window.
Cool.
Okay, good. I don't know about that.
That are off to the side, so it's very open still, and it has a very nice community layout to it. So it's a great workspace.
Cool.
Yeah. So if you haven't been there, definitely go check. It's super fun. Here, who do we have? Ooh, and Katie loves your outfit, Sarah. I love it. Awesome. Well, we'll just do quick intros of us. I'm Suzanne Moore, realtor with Realty One Group Discovery. That's the office that Sarah's sitting in right now. And I started the Central Oregon Investor Network in 2020 as a way to bring investors together and do things like this. Each other, share what we know, and be resources for one another. So that's my short and sweet background.
Yeah, and I'm Sarah WILLIS. Suzanne Moore and I are a team, and we just support each other in all the ways, and we're both here to just get everything going on this design and furnish. So
yeah, and we're both investors. For those that we haven't met or too in depth yet, Sarah has long-term rentals. She's doing her first flip in Bend, which is a house and an ADU, and then she's invested out of state for her term rentals. And then I have long-term and a vacation rental in Bend area, Central Oregon, and then some long-term rentals in Portland and some in Michigan, and a house in Baja that I'm driving to. So, this is our usual agenda. We just let the biggest part about what we do here is just the introductions, getting to know one another and sharing resources. And I always like to invite everybody to feel free to put your contact information, your email, phone number, website, Instagram handle, Facebook, whatever you're comfortable sharing here, because we want the relationships that form here to continue outside of these meetings. And it sounds like Katie and Summer are already in a class together, which is great. We've got Pete Shockley on here, who's a local lender. And we've also got private money lenders in our network and all kinds of people that are doing lots of things in the real estate investment space. And Melissa, we want to hear from you too. So just invite you to share your information. And then after the today's meetup ends, what we do is we record it, and we also capture the chat notes, and we will put them in our private Facebook page. I'll put the link in there as well. If you're not on that page, that's where you will be able to access the replay and the chats case you forget to grab someone's contact information from the chat today. So we're just going to do a quick intro so everyone knows who's here. And since Summer joined us first, we'll start with Summer.
Hi, I'm Summer. I'm here in Bend, Oregon, and I guess I'm a serial rookie, but I'm hoping to change that this year. I've been learning for a long time, and I'm finally stepping in and getting ready to hopefully do my first flip soon.
We're getting closer. I love it. Awesome. All right, Katie.
Hello, everyone. Excited to be here today. My name's Katie. I just moved here from Queens, New York City. Or here is Redmond. So that's a very big change for me and my husband and my dog, but we're thrilled to enter this new stage of our lives. We're excited to begin our real estate journey. I'm still a rookie, kind of a surprise landlady through a move from my primary residence. So I have an apartment in Queens, New York City that I'm currently renting out, doing long-term rentals. And I'd love to do a fix and flip in Redmond. I think I kind of came into the game hoping to do the BRRRR strategy, realizing that that's pretty tough to do in this area, or at least locally. So maybe eventually out of state will be where I look to next. Also, that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Great to get to know more about you. And we will have a meetup later this year. I can't remember which month it is, but I'll look, about out-of-state investing as well. So that not everybody's budget fits the price point in Central Oregon for investments. So we certainly are here as resources to help you build your team in a different market and learn how to invest remotely, which is something both Sarah and I have done pretty successfully. So great to hear from you. All right, Melissa.
Sorry, my camera seems to be having some challenges, but so you just get to look at my pretty wedding picture. That's about it. So I am a Central Oregon native, and my husband and I recently just renovated our primary home to turn into a rental of some sort. We're still not sure if we're going to do short-term, long-term, mid-term, but we're figuring it out. And we did short-term rentals back in 2018. We did a house hacking situation for a while, and we're pretty successful with that. So yeah, we're just excited to learn all the things.
Cool. How did you find out about our meetup today, Melissa? I think this is the first time we've seen you. Just curious.
Yeah, I actually, I think I follow you guys online and saw that you were doing this, so I thought it was brilliant.
Thank you for joining us. Just curious. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Okay, Pete Shockley.
Hey everybody, my name is Pete Shockley. I am a local mortgage lender here in Bend. Outside of that, my wife and I have 2 single-family long-term rentals. And prior to the mortgage world, I was a long-term property manager here in Central Oregon. Familiar with the space in the area, and love connecting with like-minded folks.
Thanks, Pete.
We're glad you're here. And Don Bokic.
Hi.
Yeah.
Suzanne, I'm guessing that's not a background. That's a real background you have. There.
It is real. Yes.
That's so awesome. Hi, everybody. I'm Don Bokic. I just actually officially moved to Bend and am looking for, either to purchase a house or LTR until I figure out the exact perfect location. So I wanted to check out the offices. Very nice. And, just happy to learn more from everybody.
Excellent.
Congrats on getting here.
Yeah, congrats.
I'm glad.
I'm like, I didn't know life could be so good. Like Central Oregon is great.
It's beautiful.
I love it. He moved from Portland.
Yes, yes.
LA
Cool.
first though, right?
New Jersey. So yeah, this is there. I'm from the East Coast, and there are some similarities, but also some great differences to Central Oregon from growing up on the East Coast.
Love it.
Very cool. Welcome.
Thank you.
Sorry, my back's like pivoted to you.
I'm like looking at myself.
Cool.
Right. Okay. Well, let's hear from our guest of honor, Samantha McClintic, our guest speaker. Yeah, I'll just go to your slide, actually. That's probably easiest.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Excellent.
Take it away.
So very excited to be here and chat with you guys today, share some tidbits on furnishings for short-term rentals. I mean, really rentals across the board, but I think our focus today is that short-term rental perspective. So I began in the design industry in 2018. When I first moved here to Bend, we moved over from the Portland area. Don't regret it for a day. And was able to apprentice and work under a local designer here in Bend who really carried forward full aspects of interior design services. So oftentimes we would start with remodels and new constructions and work through all of the specifications for hard materials. So your countertops, cabinetry, tile, flooring, et cetera, et cetera. And then as the project progressed, we would shift our focus to sourcing furnishings. So I really was able to learn both aspects of the industry and carry that forward for what I wanted my own business to look like as well. So then in 2020, I had the opportunity to go work for a custom home builder and was definitely in the construction side of that and worked alongside of the owner directly with project management roles and administrative tasks. And so I was really immersed in both the construction application and design and studying how those two roles really come together and how, approachable and practical design really should look. So that was a great perspective to gain. And then in 2022, I had the chance to come back to design and founded McClintic Interiors. And really just carry each part of those tidbits with me to shape how I focus on my business. So that's a little bit on my background with that. To get into a little bit of the content, be next slide, please. Thank you. So when I was thinking about how I wanted to format this presentation for you, taking it from kind of a top-down, bottom-up approach of where do I even start is a lot of times the question that I get from people. So I put together kind of a 5-part series of what that kind of looks like from a preliminary standpoint. So part 1 is going to be evaluate your furnishing needs. So you've just purchased either your first or 10th rental or investment property. It's still the same fundamental every time. So you walk into the empty room. Okay, what do I need to get together for this? So an exercise that I do for myself and my clients is preparing a spreadsheet with listing all of the items that you're going to need. So for your living room, you have your sofa, your coffee table, your end tables, accent chairs, rugs, lamps. Those are kind of like umbrella large items. And then once you get those big ticket items, then trickle down and work towards inputting your accessories and decor items, and go room by room and do this exercise. And that will kind of help build a template or a roadmap, so to speak, to begin with, to get that idea going. And then next slide here too. So then mid-tier and luxe is going to be the same exercise, but think about upgraded or premium components that you're going to need with this. So premium bedding, upgraded mattresses, possibly motorized window treatments, just those elevated touches with that. Next slide. So part 2, prepare your budget. So now you've gone through, you have your room by room list, and now you can start to shop and at a very high level, but start looking at preliminary options online. So if you're starting with bronze, here to go to next slide, please. So I'm calling our 3 levels that we're going to focus on: entry, mid-tier, and luxury is going to be bronze to start at our base level. So plug in some vendors and manufacturers that are more approachable, more accessible, and kind of fall in that entry grade. And then record on your list the cost that you're seeing. So what does a sofa cost that's, you know, a 3-seater with a chaise, or you know, a 3-foot by 2-foot coffee table, or whatever the layout needs may be that come with that space, and record those, and that will give you kind of a basis, you know, a baseline to go off of for what each room is going to cost. But I find on an average estimation, so a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,600 square foot, 20 to 30 if you're trying to be at that economical price point is what you can expect to see. I've had projects before approach me with 15, and it's just, it's too tight to be able to really invest in your quality heavy hitters, like your sofa and your area rugs and chairs and the things that really get a lot of heavy use. You want to prioritize a portion of your budget to invest in those, so you're not constantly replacing damaged and pieces that withstand durability. So next slide.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to add a couple things here. So I've furnished my two of my short-term rentals were about half that size. One was like 800 square feet. One was just over 1,000. And like, I just did IKEA, Wayfair, Amazon, and second stores. And like, I'm no interior designer, so I was not stopping the scroll. We'll put it that way. But I was able to do it for just about like $5,500. It's very minimalist, basic, you know, but they still booked well during the COVID years. So it is possible to do this like on a shoestring. And then the other thing I wanted to say is in our network, we have a gal that, you know, when you buy mattresses that come to your house in a box and you have like 30 days, 60 days to test it out, and if you don't like it, you can return it, and someone comes and picks it up from your house, and you're like, what do they do with those? Well, she actually does that. She picks them up from your house, and she has a warehouse in Redmond, and she sells barely used mattresses for like pennies on the dollar. So if this is ever anything that anyone is interested in, if you need mattresses for your own home, or if you're going to be furnishing a short or midterm rental, let us know and we'll connect you with her, because she's part of our network. And one of our clients just bought 2 short-term rentals in Bend, and he's filling up his van with mattresses from Terran. So that's another opportunity for her right here in our community.
That's great. That's a great contact. And I want to preface too that you can definitely you know, I agree with you, Suzanne, that there are ways that you can be thrifty and you know, buy secondhand, marketplace, be resourceful in a tighter budget. You know, these would just be more approximations for like overall, if you were to order each item and make it that kind of curated.
Yeah. And I think there's a big difference between, what Suzanne's put together and like the fully like interior design look too. So.
Right. I mean, this is for more of that stretching your dollar, your entry, you know, level to still achieve a thoughtful design is kind of where this number is falling for that. So next tier is going to be silver. So same exercise, go through and shop, but look at a little bit more elevated for quality. And here too, and I kind of touch on this in future slides, but you get more customization with your furniture pieces that open up when you reach this level. So more customization on configurations, your cushion fill on sofas, upholstery fabrics and grades open up for that. So just a little bit more flexibility, customization, and that little bit higher quality price point on there. And then our next one is platinum. So this is going to be like luxury penthouse suites, that kind of clientele that's expecting a luxury experience and luxury quality. I would say that definitely in the 60 plus, in terms of, once you reach that full customization for all of your furnishing pieces, more customization equals more price tag. So that kind of drives up those more procured and design forward selections.
My question is too, are these this prices include just furnishings, or is this design as well?
This would be just furnishings.
Cool.
Yeah. So just looking at the, I don't want to say material, but expense cost just in that selection.
Awesome.
So, okay, next slide. So looking at these tiers, is anyone wondering where does their rental fall, or do you guys all have a pretty good idea of what market you want to shoot for? Any feedback?
I don't know if does anyone on here, I don't think anyone has short rentals yet. So maybe this is like more of a theoretical question.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
So for the different tiers, I mean, can you give us an idea of like where you're sourcing? Like what brand, are there any name brands I would recognize in the different tiers, or is it national? Is it more local? Like kind of where do you get your stuff?
So I would say from the bronze level would be your more approachable and accessible brands like West Elm, Rejuvenation, Room and Board, those kinds. And then once you get up to the mid-tier, you are looking more at local showrooms. And then as well, your Crate and Barrels, your kind of Pottery Barn, Design Within Reach, those sort of selections. And then once you get to the custom tier, you're definitely at trade exclusive resources. So that would be working with a designer and having access to those
Colors, fabric, whatever you want to get. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Great.
So
Yeah, and something that just because of who we've got here too that you may touch on the end is just like you're talking about your soft design, but also like your hard design elements as well when it comes to like people who are into fix and flip stuff. But we can get there.
Yeah. No, I'd love to touch on that.
Cool.
So tips for determining how to shoot for what market that you should be looking for. Really know your audience. So develop a taste for the demographic that you're looking to attract. I mean, obviously it seems like all of us here are in Central Oregon. So we have a very specific demographic that travels here and really is looking for that Pacific Northwest outdoor integrated adventure experience for a lot of people. So, keep that in consideration too when you're looking at which level you want to aim for. And then it'll take some R&D as well to kind of pin down which demographic you should be looking at. But also note your guest profiles. So that'll help you to kind of determine who's looking at your place, who's interested in the appearance and marketing that you're putting out there. And then another tip is just to see, as guests check out, what rooms are being used most. And that will kind of give you a idea for what's high traffic, what people are seeking most, and then you can kind of shift and mold in terms of investment perspective, what areas you should focus on more. So,
And I
so
just want to make sure I was correct. For bronze level, you said room and board, West Elm, and rejuvenation. Is that right?
yeah.
Okay.
And they're all kind of under the same parent company, but the quality still kind of comes through on different items like that.
Okay. Rejuvenation does a
So.
lot of really beautiful light fixtures and stuff like that, right? Yeah.
They do. Yeah. They have a lot of light fixtures. And then of course, Wayfair is difficult because I find that half the time what comes from them is actually pretty decent quality. They just don't list the manufacturer or maker on the purchase. And then the other half is like totally subpar quality. So Wayfair is always kind of a gamble of what you're going to get, but it's always a starting point for sure for the bronze tier. So, all right, next slide, please. So preparing your timeline. So you've made your list of items that you need. You've kind of determined a budget where you think you're going to fall. Now, how long is it going to take to get these items? So for bronze, you're typically going to be looking at stocked items. So let's say, for example, on West Elm, when you're searching and you see a sofa you like, there's on the right-hand side of the screen, there's your first bracket of fabrics that are available in the exact configuration that they're showing, and they'll say stocked. Those are going to be items or fabrics that you can pick, and the furniture piece is going to be able to ship out in a quick manner with those. If you scroll down further down the page, it's going to show you more performance fabrics, a little more upgraded quality, and those are going to fall more in the semi-custom, which I think would fall more with the silver price range and timeline. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at those options. But typically, everything that's going to be at the stock level, you can expect 4 to 8 weeks, I would say, on those. And then silver. So look at manufacturers that have more of that customizable configuration. Each living room, each layout, everything is always so different and variable per space. So it's a nice bonus to be able to get pieces that fit specific for your room and that maximize how many people can be comfortably seated for your rental. And then these lead times typically 9 to 12 weeks on receiving those. And then platinum. So this is going to be your fully customized option where you can customize your configuration, your frame construction, how the furniture is put together, your seat support construction, your cushion fill, your upholstery grade. The list really goes on and on for the possibilities that are open with that. But they do run a much longer lead time because they're made to order. So 3 to 6 months on those items for sure. And a couple more notes too on that. For accessories and decor, a lot of this you can source online, a lot you can source locally. 2 to 4 weeks, I'd say, to probably gather all of those items. And then area rugs are another one of those components that you can either source local or online. You can find a lot of really great durable rug options that are typically well stocked. So those I would say should run probably in the 4 to 8 week range to receive if you were ordering those. And okay, so part 4, next slide, please. So sourcing and ordering furnishings. So you've kind of put together your initial plan. You have a budget in mind, items, how long it's going to take. Now, how do I actually source and order these pieces? So,
Sorry, quickly, we have one question from Katie. She wants to know what your favorite bronze level rug source is.
Let's see. So I like to order from, it's a company called Syria, Suyra, but they might be trade exclusive. So I'd have to double check on that one. But I mean, yeah, you have West Elm, Crate and Barrel is one of my favorites. They still have really good quality, and good materials. So like for area rugs specifically, obviously they receive a lot of wear and tear. They receive a lot of traffic, a lot of spills.
It's kind
a
of
lot
disposable in a way. You got to
staining.
budget in to replace those every few years. I
Right.
would think.
Yes. Yeah. I just say every few years, but you know, keep in mind the material that you're looking at. So fibers that are going to hold up really well are going to be like nylon, which is a synthetic material, but it does hold up very well. Wool, absolutely, high durability, hypoallergenic, cleans incredibly well, and the fibers are strong so that that pile will stay intact. So that is always one of my go-tos. Ones to avoid if they have viscose in them. That is a synthetic material that reacts adversely to water. So when you try to go clean it, or inexpensive silks, kind of the same issue. They do not clean well. So just keep those in mind when you're looking at those entry-level economical rug options.
No viscose.
Yeah. So some sourcing and ordering tips. So like I had mentioned earlier, make sure that you prioritize budget on those heavy hitter furniture items. And that may mean that that's where the bulk of your budget goes to start. And then you create that long-term plan to fill in with those furnishings and accessories as you can. But I really want to stress that component, to be looking at pieces that are at least contract grade in their quality and their fabrics, and looking for performance fabrics when you're searching for those. Another tip would be to take advantage of ordering swatches. So fabric samples, rug samples, prior to ordering. It's a very cheap insurance policy to make sure that what you're actually looking at, that the material is adequate for what you're thinking, as well as the color with your palette. So take advantage of those, and also pay attention to the grade that the fabric is rated for. Will kind of give you that durability scale as well. And then what I just really want to emphasize as well, sourcing from local shops as much as you can. You know, with online presence, it's, I think, a little bit taken for granted, the local resources that we do have. And so I, as a designer, always try to support local first. And the pieces are there that you're actually able to give it the sit test, or feel the ergonomics or comfortability of the pieces before you order them and put them in your home. So that's another a big plus. And then oftentimes too, they'll have white glove delivery service.
Just gonna say, save on shipping. Right?
Yeah, save on shipping. You can order white glove delivery from all the big box places, but they charge you a premium for that service. So local shops, you know, they'll charge a nominal fee, if any, to bring you your order and put it in place for you, which is a big plus in my book. And then it also, I mean, like,
shop? Oh, sorry. I was just gonna ask, what are some of your favorite local shops?
I tend to gravitate towards like Merriweather's and the Box Factory, Haven Home, Furnish. Yeah, Furnish, of course, more modern style, but they have great quality pieces as well. Bend Furniture and Design, Gathered Wares for accessories. Those are really called to the Central Oregon
Love it.
region. So And then also too, with bringing in these local pieces, it kind of emulates the idea of capturing that local experience for your guests. So, you know, you're bringing in local wood species, local art and decor that just enhances that Central Oregon experience for your guests. So that's kind of my soapbox about sourcing local.
Yeah.
So last part of this series on this kind of roadmap here is installation. So DIY versus pro. So of course you'll need to factor in for your budget which approach you're looking to take. Of course, DIY is going to save more money up front. So if you plan to go the DIY route, you'll need to understand how you're going to supply labor and installation for actually implementing this plan. And then if you hire a professional team, who should you be considering for that? And kind of three main roles: designer, absolutely. And as a designer, our job is much more than just picking out pretty things and ordering them. It's, you know, so much more about the education behind what you're ordering, the quality that you're getting, the performance that each product is going to offer, and then also really providing a curated local source of resources, whether that's hooking you up with a contractor, you know, being there to receive orders and have a team that can actually put it in place for you. So that's where I would start. And then from there, definitely would encourage connecting with a contractor and establishing that connection so that when things do go awry and that there is solutions that need to be done, that you have that established connection with a local professional as well.
I
So
was just gonna ask, like, I know in some larger cities there's TaskRabbit and Thumbtack and that kind of stuff. Is there any like kind of quick contract service that you know of in Bend that does this, or do you just have to have a handy person to do this?
yeah, I'm not familiar with any Bend resources for this. There may be, but not off the top of my head.
Okay. Sarah, do you know any?
I know, no, I'm racking my brain. I don't think so. I mean, yeah, I mean, I kind of like what Katie just said, like I would just be picking random people, you know, off of Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist probably.
Right. And
Those
when you're
$20
able
an hour.
to partner with, you know, someone that's professional locally and really has established roots here in terms of connections, that credibility and reliability of professionals that you are bringing in to work on your home that you know are going to be taken care of, and you know accountability is going to be there. So yeah. So next slide. So stopping the scroll. So as of 2023, I was listening to a webinar with the NKBA, which is the National Kitchen and Bath Association, and they did a talk on this topic, and they had shared that as of 2023, there was an estimated 1.4 million vacation rentals on the market, and expected to trend upwards in that, right? So everything is so competitive within this market, in this industry, and how do you set yourself apart? So to stop the scroll, next slide, please. Ultimately, your property needs to look great, it needs to photograph great, and it needs to have excellent amenities. So some techniques to be able to achieve this would be, don't be afraid to implement custom features in your spaces that really convey that design forward experience for people. So, you know, there's underneath a staircase, right? That's all dead space unless you open that up and make it a cute reading nook, or, you know, a glass covered wine cabinet or wine storage area. Just something that invokes that extra level of care and design attention that emulates that for people. And then capturing the aesthetic of the environment that they're looking to explore. So very much here in Central Oregon. I mean, we can see the snowshoes over here and the natural wood and, those components, which, are really critical to encapsulating that feel that people are coming to your vacation rental to experience. So kind of a broad design topic on this, right? Did you have a question?
I was just going to say a couple of things about that, but if you tell me when you're at a stopping point and I'll chime in.
Yeah, go ahead. You're good.
Okay. So one thing that some of our clients have done, vacation rentals generally, like people don't need a lot of closet space. And sometimes these places come with giant closets. So we had clients that turned the huge extra closet into bunk beds. Like they built bunks in there. And so not only does it increase your occupancy, but then it's like cool surprise and delight for guests, and the kids are so excited because it's like they get to sleep in their own little nook in the closet or whatever. So yeah, I've seen that in like Black Butte, like a $3 million house, and Sun River in a $800,000 house, so I think it can be something that spans different budget levels, and it's just something fun.
Absolutely.
Where you can do that. And then I had another point, but I totally forgot what it was. So maybe it'll come back.
That kind of touches on, I'll get to it in a couple more slides here, but that kind of touches on the idea of that optimizing your space, right? So those kind of cool, unique features that set your place apart are, yes, they're an investment up front, but they're really that difference between scroll or, oh my gosh, so cool, look at this feature,
I just think it's so interesting to note too the difference between like designing and furnishing, a house that you're trying to list for sale and appeal to the masses, right? Versus something that you're trying to get people to have an experience in. Exactly. And like you almost like don't want to be modest, right? You almost want to go big and go really different, and just like finding that balance too.
Exactly. And I think that that's a common misconception for people is that, oh, well, I want my place to appeal to everyone. It's like, well, it's like every industry, right? Like you have a niche market, you have niche people that you're looking to attract, and whoever you're looking to attract wants that impact. They can have mundane and neutral at home. Exactly. Yeah. But when they come to their vacation spot, like, wow, I want to feel this energy. Look at all the attention they put into this place. This experience is really cool. Yeah. So that, that's really a big differentiator for a lot of people. And in terms of capturing the aesthetic of the environment, I wanted to just touch on this. It's not a new concept by any means, but research and study is coming out a little bit more on the topic of biophilic design. So biophilic design is kind of encapsulates our instinctual connection to nature and how we incorporate those components into design. So that would be using natural stone for your countertop surfaces, natural woods in your cabinetry, kind of this concept of refuge and protection. So cute little cozy reading nooks that are kind of that secluded, cozy feel, kind of call to that concept as well. So it's just a very interesting idea, but I think that it really crosses over very well with where we live. I recently took a class on it, and a lot of designers were from East Coast, and they were like, oh my gosh, yeah, wow, this is amazing. And I'm like, this is what we do here all the time. So for us, it's kind of ingrained in the style, which I love a lot. So I just wanted to mention that point as well. And next slide is kind of an example of what we just talked about in terms of creating that impactful statement. So this is not my work, but one image that I found online that I thought was very representative. So, on the left, you have your before, that nothing wrong with the room. It's a great space. You could make that work just fine. But, you know, you look at the after, and they've put in a lot of custom thought to this space. So the patterned wallpaper that's bright and vibrant color, customized to the location. So, you know, that's really going to call to those people that want to be in that immersive experience the whole time that they're at their stay. So I just wanted to illustrate that as kind of an example. And so next topic I wanted to touch on was optimization. So 3 points we're going to touch on this: optimize for budget, optimize for time, and optimize for space. So in considering optimizing for your budget, be mindful, kind of like we touched on before, but be mindful of the demographic and optimize your resources to invest in features that are nurturing to what they're seeking for their vacation. So, you know, that would be, if we're talking about, you know, that luxury line, you know, that those extra details and touches of upgraded linens, upgraded bedding, upgraded, you know, bath towels, amenities, you know, those textiles and things that really emulate what you're trying to convey. And then I had also mentioned this prior, but consider a long-term plan for furnishing your rental if that budget is tight to start. So invest in those high quality pieces to begin with, and then it'll take a little bit of time, but then at that point you can really accumulate a very design forward and curated look that takes a little bit of time to develop, but then you're really only focusing to do it once, and you're not buying pieces to scrap them, to restart, to redo. So just keep that in mind for optimizing on your budget. And then optimize for time. So again, determine how you're going to implement and execute your furnishing plan. So are you local? Can you be there to execute getting your place furnished? And if not, do you need to look at hiring your local team? And in the sense of optimizing for time in this perspective, you know that you're going to be able to get a team in there to do it efficiently, to source your space correctly. And another point to focus on with this as well, from a designer's perspective. So part of my business that I also focus on is being able to provide design drawings. So I work in a floor plan view to start, and I can come in and actually measure up the space to what exists. And then to scale, we can plop in furniture pieces, different configuration options. And you know that if you're buying a 86-inch sofa with a 66-inch chaise, that's actually going to proportionately fit and maximize the layout of your space as well. So just keep that in mind too when you're trying to figure out which pieces would go best and work well. And then create that core team that can serve your investments needs locally. And that's going to take a little bit of time, but if you're more on the DIY side, you know, setting up that established team that can help you out in a very quick matter will save you a lot of time. And then again, just invest in quality furnishings from the beginning, so you're not redoing and spending twice the money in the long run to achieve the same idea. And then next slide. So optimize for space. So you're indoors, and this kind of touches on what Suzanne had mentioned, but find those opportunities to implement those unique features. So, you know, opening up the closet so that the built-in bunk beds can be in there, or integrated flex spaces with work areas and additional sleeping quarters. You know, just some unique, interesting ideas and space utilization that really maximizes the square footage that you're working with and the livable component for your guests as well. And then consider your amenity needs for the capacity of guests. So for example, does your house max out at 4 or does it max out at 24? And if it maxes out at 24, do you need to double up on refrigerator space? Do you need to double up on dishwashers? Kind of keep that in mind as well. And then space saving appliances. So an example would be LG just came out with an all-in-one, or GE just came out with an all-in-one washer. So it's, 54 by 28-ish for a unit. And it does a wash cycle and dry cycle all in 2 hours without switching the loads.
I'm waiting for them to fold the laundry.
Yeah, right. Right away. Which is amazing. And I actually just went to Las Vegas about 3 weeks ago for the kitchen and bath show, which was amazing. And they had all of these appliances and features out on display. So it was pretty cool to see that. And I'm actually putting one in on a project that I'm working on as well. So, that not only frees up time for your guests and way easier convenience, but also helps speed up housekeeping and, making that time a little bit more efficient as well. So
Interesting.
And then your outdoor areas too, don't forget about these. Make them kind of that extension of your interior. And, that connection to nature for so many people really does induce a quality of wellness. And that's what people ultimately are looking for on their vacations. They want to come back feeling rejuvenated, reinvigorated, and reconnected ultimately, right? So, the outdoors is a great way to be able to provide that to people as well. So think about creating cute little vignettes with, it doesn't have to be large or excessive, but cute little furniture pieces that people can go sit in a garden or under the pine trees or hot tubs or whatnot. So
we had a client ask us about having 2 sets of washer and dryer at their house. And I think it's a 4-bedroom house, 3 or 4-bedroom house. Do you think that's
4-bedroom?
necessary?
I think there's more efficient appliances that you could get rather than buying 4 units. Like the all-in-one, for example, you can buy 2 units and have double the capacity and be taking up essentially the same square footage as one side by side.
I was thinking about how those would be plumbed. You'd probably have to reconfigure plumbing a little bit. And then do you know whether they come in electric and gas or just one or the other?
I think they come in both.
Interesting.
But the all-in-one from GE, it uses a heat pump system to dry. So it actually doesn't,
Electric.
if I'm recalling right, it doesn't actually vent out.
Wow.
Which is bizarre.
So cool.
And
So you
it
wouldn't need
takes
to
120
reconfigure.
volts. So your power requirements are much less. So it's a very situation that I think could really be applicable for rentals, but short-term rentals as well.
I think his mindset on why he was looking for that, Suzanne, was more for like turnover, house cleaning, more so than guests, just like making it faster for house cleaners. But
Right.
Just curious.
It touches on optimizing for time and those components. So some designer tips. Next slide, please. Perfect. And you can go one more. There you go. So tips to consider. These are just kind of like tried and true from experience to just pass on. So avoid buying comforters that are 1 unit. But rather buy a duvet and a down insert that you can easily strip that duvet cover off of that. Much easier washing, cleaner, and offers a higher looking aesthetic as well. And then consider white sheets that can withstand bleach treatments if needed. That's going to expand the life of your bedding a little bit more. Please avoid white furniture. Like all the time. Even if you're looking at a high grade performance fabric, it's still hazardous. So that would be like the number one that I would pass along there. And then just consider doormats for all your interior, exterior thresholds, and an interior mat that can be washable. So help really save your floors, keep the inside a little bit cleaner, especially with Central Oregon, the cinder that gets trapped in and moon dust and all that fun stuff. So, next slide.
All right, I just wanted to talk about this really fast. So, some vacation rental property managers will provide linens as part of their
Mhm.
service, or you like pay, some set fee when you sign up with them to like those white sheets and white towels. So
Right.
that's fine if you're going to do that, because they launder them off site professionally. They know how to clean white things. But if you are self-managing, or you just have your own cleaner and you're telling guests to like put the sheets in the washer before they leave, do not get anything white. People put all the colors together in the washer and they don't care. So I just know that from my own personal experience of thinking, oh, I'll just get white towels. And now
Yeah.
they're in Baja because they're totally trashed.
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
that perspective. Yeah, that's helpful, because I guess it does, of course, matter which management approach that you take and the lifespan that will come from those. But so next slide. So just touching on the technology side of things, I haven't really utilized the smart home, the whole integration portion yet. But in terms of window treatments, if you're going to be installing motorized, one, make sure the remote is mounted on the wall and that it has its home there, because that will automatically get lost forever and then people can't operate them. But if you are installing those window treatments in general, just make sure that they're easily operable for guests. And then for the technology, I know that there's a whole bunch of integrated smart check-in and different technology systems that you can utilize. But just be mindful that what you're installing is intuitive and user-friendly. Okay, and that's kind of the meat of the content. Just some key takeaways. I hope that you feel, inspired to be able to take action for your vacation rental, and that you're leaving feeling that you have a better understanding of the logistics and planning for your vacation rental, and that, you're confident on techniques of how to stop the scroll, informed about some budgetary options for furnishings, and that you're eager and ready to get your place listed. So those are my hopes for your time today. And last slide here, Suzanne. One more there.
There's no more slides.
Oh, no.
Did I? I don't see it in there.
Oh,
Is this your
shoot.
contact page?
Yeah, the contact page was the last one. Looks like it fell off.
Oh no. Oh wait, here.
There we go. Okay, perfect. So I have the contact information listed here, and then I have a QR code at the bottom there that's connected to my contact page on my website. So as a thank you for your guys' time, for hosting me, and for listening to my tidbits here. If you go online and complete the contact form on my website, and submit to my newsletter, I'm offering up a free complimentary 20-minute design consultation for questions that you may have following this call or specific to your rental as well. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then Samantha also has a good amount of experience, it sounds like, doing hard surface design as well, which I'll let her take that.
Yes. So real quick, because I know we're kind of at time here. But yes, so that's kind of the bread and butter really of what I focus on is hard materials. So remodels and new constructions are largely what I work on. So that's specifying, like I said, your countertops, cabinetry, flooring, tile, bathroom design, kitchen design, all of those things. And in tandem with specifying materials, I'm also able to do 3D renderings and work in my drawing program that can convey the design and kind of get that road mapped a little bit more. So,
Which I think could be valuable to all of us here.
yes.
So
Yeah.
anyways, just wanted to share that.
Yeah. Thank you for mentioning them as well.
Of course. That was, you gave me lots of food for thought, and there are things that I hadn't even thought of.
Good,
so thank you.
Great. Just want to open it up. Does anyone have any questions on any topics we've covered today?
I just
Thank
also
you for
want to.
all of this, Samantha. I do have a question. Lots of good nuggets in there. Kind of going back to the optimize for budget, any just tips or tricks based off of what you've experienced where you might go a little more budget friendly with some stuff, or some things you would definitely splurge on? Just any advice?
Yeah. So absolutely splurge on the sofa. I know I'm a broken record on that. But definitely on the sofa, the chairs, quality of mattress. I really think that makes a big difference. There's nothing worse for me when I go to book a rental and the bed is horrible and I'm uncomfortable and I'm looking forward to going home. So that keep that in the budget as well. Other things that you can maybe try to improvise on: bed frames, bedside tables, some accent chairs if they're not going to be in highly used areas. But splurge items for sure: the sofa, coffee table. You can kind of go mid-range with that. Let's see. Dining table, chairs, and just make sure that area rug that you're sourcing, pay attention to what it's made of, and that I think can help shape that as well. Cool. Okay. Anybody else?
And this applies to midterm rentals too, which is like any furnished rental. Midterm is basically 30 days and more, which is oftentimes what we see Bend proper now. So
I have
yeah,
a question.
tips.
Do you mind me asking what design program you use?
I work in Chief Architect.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you familiar with programs?
I am, yeah.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Melissa, I saw your request to connect you with the mattress gal, so we'll do that after this. I have your email address, and we'll connect you guys via email.
Oh yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Taryn's info in too.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I think. Yeah.
Is it Taryn or is it Bryn? I thought it was.
Oh my gosh, you're totally right.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
we'll connect you with her. I don't know how to delete that, but I'll try.
That's right.
Awesome. Thank you all. I'm glad everyone was able to join us, and we'll have this recorded and available for all of you on our Facebook page. The correct link is in the chat if you want to join us there. And we're just glad you all were here. And thank you, Samantha, for being a great guest speaker.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having me. I'm very excited to be able to share some information. So thank you guys for participating today.
See you guys soon. We'll be in touch with all of you.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Oh boy. Cool. Well, Dom, where'd you end up? You renting? I'm assuming.
It's